Welcome back to my channel, my friends. Okay, let me take you back. A few months ago. I made a video on healthy, sustainable fat loss and the science behind my approach. That video is about the mechanics of how fat loss that actually lasts happens. That's what I mean by sustainable, is fat loss that actually lasts. And that video was an introduction to metabolism, adaptive thermogenesis, and why weight loss results are regularly found to be unsustainable. Those topics are really complex and nuanced, and even though that video went into a lot of detail, it was still just an introduction. Now, I'm not currently trying to lose fat, but I get asked all the time how to put those principles and that science into something tangible. Like, what does that look like in a day? So I can play that part. Think of me as like your live demonstration, your tour guide, if you will, to my approach to healthy, sustainable fat loss. And as we go along, I'll touch on the reasoning behind everything very lightly, with a little light touch. But if you want a more firm touch, a more brute, heavy-handed touch, then you can go check out those videos. I'm gonna be tracking my progress using progress pics. To be honest, I don't even know the last time that I saw a set of scales. I haven't relied on a set of scales for like progress in like forever. Now, two things. One set of progress photos a week is more than enough. I don't need to be spamming my camera roll with progress photos. Oh, that's a long time to hold for 10 seconds. Any more than that, and all we're hearing is noise. Like, there's just too many daily fluctuations from like, wait, one sec. From like being on your period, what you've eaten the day before, how you worked out the day before, how intense it was, your water retention. And we want to be focusing on the long-term trend, not on the daily noise. And the second thing, because remember I said there were two things, is to never compare two photos less than a month apart. Now, the reason for those two things is very simple. Everyone thinks progress looks like this. But in reality, this is what progress really looks like. It's noisy, it's scruffy, it looks like it's not there sometimes, and that can feel really disheartening. When we track any metric over such a short period of time, like day to day, all we see is noise. It's only when we zoom out that that noise disappears. So if you're comparing photos less than a month apart, you're increasing the volume of noise and decreasing the visibility of the long-term trend. Now, alongside tracking my progress with progress photos, I also track two very important numbers. The first is my energy levels throughout the whole week out of 10, and the second is how strong I felt in my workouts in the last week out of 10. And if both of those are less than a 7 for 2 weeks running, then that's a red flag for me that I'm probably not following my own approach.
On the way for our morning ritual.
A little bit of coffee. Oh my God. Look at these cacti thrive. Now, the goal is healthy, sustained fat loss. And those both lead me to not go too aggressively. Health-wise, going too aggressively can create the risk of having depressed biological processes. So things like menstruation, bone density, immunity, reduced cardiovascular function, even digestive issues, they've all been shown to be an outcome of REDS, relative energy deficiency or low energy availability. And I'll link some papers in the description box if you're interested. But basically, I don't want any of that for any of you. Health is wealth, you know? Now, in terms of the sustainable results part, there's a few things at play. Psychologically, the research suggests that it becomes disproportionately harder the more aggressive your approach. Now, physically, there's a couple of things at play here. Fast weight loss increases the ratio of muscle to fat being lost, but we need that muscle. We need that muscle because it increases our BMR, and we need strength to be able to lift heavier weights and have a much higher energy output in our workouts. So muscle and strength are really important for future Natacha to be able to maintain that fat loss. But there's more than just muscle and strength loss at play, because the changes that we see in our metabolism, the reduction that we see in our metabolism, is greater than what we would expect for the amount of fat-free mass that's been lost. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that for my health and also for my results, I really feel like the science supports a slow, steady approach. We're both like dying of heat. It's so hot.
Do two like that, please. Do I feel that?
You look really hot. You look really
sexy.
I was talking more like temperature, but okay, so how fast is too fast? I think about a 10% calorie deficit from your maintenance is a really good ballpark. I'm currently on 2,450 calories maintenance. I work out about 4 times a week on average. So a 10% calorie deficit for me would be about 240 calories. Now, because I'm over 2,000 calories as my maintenance, I could probably push it to 15% if I wanted to, and that would be about 380 calories. But if your maintenance intake is less than 2,000, then I probably wouldn't push it more than 10%. And it's important to remember that that calorie deficit doesn't just have to come from reducing your food intake, it can also come from increasing your physical activity, so changing some things up in your workouts. Oh yeah, go on then. Hot or sexy? Let's eat. Now don't those look amazing? Now the principle at mealtime is volume. Volume and also protein. In a deficit, protein intake becomes super important for muscle preservation, and that's why specialist registered dietitians and most researchers agree that even if you're dropping the amount of calories that you're eating, you want to be keeping the amount of protein you're eating the same, or even in some cases, going a little bit higher. Whoa, now that is cottage cheese to my liking. Okay, wait, I'm getting distracted. So 1.3 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight seems to be a really good target. I weigh 60, 65 kilos, something like that. So I want to be hitting about 82 to 100 grams of protein every day. This is cottage cheese. This is me adding a little bit of protein. Okay, don't judge me. I'm gonna sneak these in. I just don't want to be judged, okay? But I love my gherkins. I love gherkins. Crunchy sandwich gherkins. I know I said volume. That means that the size of this meal is going to be voluptuous. But it also means that the maths has to be done just right to make sure that we don't get any structural, what is it called? Structural compensation? Structural, all my engineers, you know what I mean. Volumized. You might be thinking, why volume? Volume is our best friend. Just because we're slightly reducing our intake doesn't mean we have to go hungry. There's more to feeling satisfied than just the calories that you're consuming. There are other sensory signals that determine how satisfied you feel after a meal, like how long you spend eating, the amount of foods that you eat and how distended your stomach becomes. Foods that are micronutrient rich and less energy dense are always welcome in every single meal. So things like fruit, things like vegetables, lean meats, lean carbohydrates. I always make sure I add extra, especially if I'm going on a caloric deficit, just to make sure that I'm always feeling full and that my meals look. I actually think when I'm on a fat loss approach that my meal size actually gets bigger. So like mentally, the feeling of missing out never crosses my mind.
What's some of this?
No, I just brushed my teeth, man.
Oh, what unlucky coincidence.
This is what you do. You just wait till I've brushed my teeth and then just shove stuff in my face that I actually want to have that.
You brush your teeth.
But I'm going to ruin the taste now because of the teeth brushing.
I know.
Is that actually so nice?
It's like unbelievable how I would describe it, yeah.
Oh, that's how you describe it.
It's like indescribable.
No descriptive words.
No.
Just a
Indescribable.
Pure verbal cop-out, that is. Completely unhelpful. I have no idea what it actually tastes like now. Okay, so I want to be at about a 250 calorie deficit. I think I can probably increase my energy expenditure up by about 50 to 100 calories for my workouts just by making some like tweaks and modifications, and I'll talk about those in a sec. And that leaves me with about 150 to 200 calories reduction from food. Now, because I've tracked in the past, intuitively, I feel like I understand what 200 calories looks like. It looks like me using a different dressing, me using less oil when I'm cooking, swapping out some sides for some extra grilled veggies. But if I wasn't familiar with what 200 calories looks like, tracking can be a really nice option, even if it's just for the first few weeks. And 200 calories a day doesn't have to be 200 calories a day. It can be inconsistent, because life isn't consistent every day. Just think of it in terms of like long-term averages. This is the biggest car we've ever had. I've ever seen, we've ever driven, we've ever had. We rented it and that was the only thing they had. And I was like, anything smaller, and this is the parking space. I'm gonna have to ask you to remain calm. I'm actually can't get over you drinking kombucha like that, because it actually looks like you're drinking beer at the wheel. Like it bothers me. We have pigeons in the UK. They have these. How is that a regular bird? You're right, mate. I feel like the Aussie sayings are like, no worries, mate. And hey, that's good, hey? That's what I've picked up so far. I'm sure there are more. That's it, you get in there. It's gym time. The goals of my workouts are two things. The first is to preserve muscle. I want to keep as much muscle as possible and as much strength as possible if I'm going to have the best possible chance of keeping the fat off. And the second is having a high energy expenditure. Remember when I was saying that of that 250 calorie deficit, some of it is going to come from increasing my energy expenditure through my workouts. Okay, so I am putting my hypertrophy phase first because the dynamic movements are really demanding, and in my hypertrophy phase I want to be lifting with some heavy weight, like close to failure. If I put my dynamic stuff first, it's so demanding that I'll probably be fatigued for the hypertrophy phase. And also I want to use the hypertrophy phase of my workout to track how much I'm lifting, so that as I go further along the cut I can see how much I've maintained my strength. The goal is to maintain it as much as possible, but I can't do that if I'm temporarily fatigued by doing the dynamic stuff first. So hypertrophy first, then the dynamic phase. We've got bad news.
Devastating news.
Spotify is down. Spotify is down, hold, pause, process.
Moment of silence.
It's gonna be a long workout. So my current workout routine is about 4 workouts a week. It's about 4 to 4.5 hours of working out time, and I want every part of this process to feel sustainable, so I'm not going to change that. I know that if I try and add more sessions, like I'm just going to look forward to my workouts a little bit less. I'm going to be not that motivated to go. And instead of adding more workouts, I'm going to tweak the workouts that I have, because 4 workouts a week is still enough to make the progress towards a certain goal. Look at that booty. Okay, we're doing full body, so we're going from squats to gorilla rows.
You're building that gorilla back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, if we look at the research, concurrent training, which is basically a mix of resistance training and cardio, has been shown to be highly effective for simultaneously maintaining muscle mass and also reducing fat. I try and do a little bit of cardio, but if I'm honest, like I don't love cardio. I need to have like a performance goal when I'm going into doing cardio. I'd say every other week, maybe I'll swap out one of my gym sessions for a run. That's personally just me, but I do recommend doing cardio because concurrent training has been shown to be highly effective. I just personally enjoy the gym more, so I don't bring in as much cardio as I could do. Okay, when I'm doing full body, I like to alternate between muscle groups. So I started off with squats, then I did an upper body move. Now I'm going back to a leg move so that I can lift as heavy as possible and be really efficient with how much energy I'm actually putting out in my workout. So now it's a leg move. In the gym workouts, I'd say 40, maybe 50% of the focus is on hypertrophy to preserve muscle. That means that I'm working in that 8 to 20 rep range, incorporating heavy weight, pushing close to failure, and really focusing on controlled movements on the target muscles. And then I have about 60 to 120 seconds of rest time in between each set, and it really allows me to rebuild my strength capacity and lift heavy weights for about 3 to 4 sets per move. Okay, the hypertrophy is done. Now we're moving on to the dynamic portion of the workout. Now we're gonna sweat. The remaining 50 to 60% is way more dynamic than that. So I wanna be pushing resistance with speed. Some of these movements will be power movements. So movements where I'm literally giving every single rep 100%, like squat jumps or thrusters or ball slams. That was all Usher, that weren't me. But not every dynamic move in this part of the workout has to strictly be power. Some are more like these shoulder tap plank jacks. They're fast-paced movements that just really get my heart rate going. So if we take this workout, I had 8 exercises. 4 of them were hypertrophy, and then the other 4 were more explosive moves. They generally contain some resistance, but not always. It's been 45 minutes and literally no one's walked into this gym. It's still just me, Mario, and the guy at the front desk who's actually really cool. But apart from us 3, I feel like this is what a zombie apocalypse would feel like. I really feel like compound movements are crucial. We want to increase the energy expenditure and we want to maximize the preservation of total body muscle mass, all of the muscle across your body. And so if I chose to isolate individual muscle groups, I feel like I would just be using up valuable workout time without expending much energy and also ignoring so much of the muscle mass across my entire body. That's it, that's my workout complete. 4 hypertrophy moves, followed by 4 power dynamic moves. On my feet. And now feels really nice to be on the grass. I could stay here for a while. Groceries. We have entered the supermarket. I adopt the role of guardian angel for future Natacha's satisfaction and fullness. That's my official job title when I go into the supermarket. I actually put a little label on myself. My role is to really select foods that she will enjoy, but that will get her to her fat loss goal, but also make her feel full and satisfied. So I'm going for a variety. You know, I've obviously got my low energy dense micronutrient rich foods like the fruit and veg that really pack out her meals, but then I'm also putting in some carb options because she's got to have great workouts. I've also got a variety of protein options because she's got to keep that protein high to maintain that muscle mass. And I'm also chucking in some fats because I'm not a savage, and also fats are healthy, but also fats make foods taste better. So I've got a real mix in there, but most importantly, I'm not avoiding any foods. Yes, come home with me, my friend. We're trying to find a protein powder that we both like. I thought this could be okay.
Well, that one.
Chopped caramel.
This one.
Okay. I don't really rely on protein powder, but like I said before, when you're in a cut, it's really important to have enough protein. It's just in case. Even though I'm reducing my intake, no foods are off limit. The only difference though when I'm on a fat loss phase is that I don't rely on these high energy dense foods to get me full. I don't go into eating ice cream or brownies or popcorn hungry. I go into them already feeling satisfied, not feeling deprived, so that I can enjoy them just to enjoy them. I'm getting this popcorn because me and Mario have started watching a show called The Last of Us. Now, The Last of Us is based on a video game. It's the first video game that me and Mario played together, so it's very close to my heart. Also, I love the storyline. And they've just come out with a show, and it's every week. So every week, I just want to make sure that my snack selection is popping. That's the beauty of a 10% cut. You don't have to make drastic changes. You still get to live life. Oh yeah, that's it, teamwork.
I feel like these would be our kinds of puppies.
I'm actually dying. We've come to swap the car. It was too big. Mainly just for me when I drive. Because you actually dealt with it really well, but in our new smaller car. Actually, fuck you. Like, never wanting to admit this, but when I was like 7, they were doing S Club 8 auditions.
I don't think you should admit this.
And I auditioned. Oh, I actually sing so. Wow, this whole thing is like 12 Australian dollars. All of this was from the supermarket. I basically got chickpea salad, penne pasta, black rice, and then some roasted chicken. My snack is a huge bowl of fruit with a little bit of granola and chocolate, and I'm also working on my newest training program, which is going to be a hybrid running and gym training program. I'm going to be working away at this and then working away at this. Just type in warm gelato, I'm sure everyone will know what it means.
Please help me first, I don't know where we're going.
Wait, I need to explain before we know where we're going.
Warm gelato.
Let me give them the backstory.
Oh,
Warm gelato.
What's wrong with you?
Explain. 4 years ago we came to Sydney and it was late one night and we were like, oh, let's just go for a nice little walk. And we stumbled on this gelato place. And it's, okay, we say warm because it's
warm
not
gelato.
It's not cold. Okay, Rihanna, then warm gelato.
And then cold gelato.
And then cold. And so I finished my work now. Have you finished your work, or are you just?
I'm doing a bit more.
Are you making?
On,
okay.
I take a warm gelato break.
Okay, he's making a warm gelato break. Oh, I feel like I need to have salted caramel. That's my go-to. Thank you. Oh, both of those were so good. Oh my god, this is melting rapidly. This is melting so quickly. Okay, so it's going to be an interesting test because I'm not actually hungry.
Oh my god, this is unbelievable.
It's so good.
But also it's warm.
I know, I'm actually...
It's not cold. I don't know how to explain it.
It's literally all over my fingers. Wait. This is now just a drink.
That's the problem with it being warm.
I'm handing you this. I've had enough.
You don't want this?
Nah, I feel like because I've eaten so much during the day, like I can just enjoy the warm gelato for what it is, just like as a nice treat. But I don't feel like I need to finish the whole thing. I just wanted some warm gelato, you know? So it's all yours.
Now I have two.
Now you have two. I'd say I had about half. I want to touch on mindset because I feel like whether or not you succeed will be based on the story that you tell yourself. Like, you deserve to feel good, you deserve to feel happy, you deserve to enjoy moving. This whole thing, everything that we're doing here is to make you feel good. It doesn't matter if it's trying to get healthy, trying to get fit, trying to lose some fat, trying to build some muscle, trying to get stronger. All of these things, they're there to help you add to your life, to help make you feel better. So coming at it from a place of disapproval or hate or telling yourself off misses the point entirely. And the second point I want to mention is that at some point in your plan, you will go wildly off plan, and you need to plan for that. It's gonna happen at some point. For me, the last 3 months, like definitely the most of the end of 2022, I didn't feel like working out. So I didn't worry about working out. I took a long break from the gym. Basically like 2 months. It just, for a long time, it just made me feel overwhelmed. I always say that fitness should add to your life, and it wasn't adding to my life. So I stopped, and I was like, I'll see you when I see you. And now I'm getting back into it. I feel really good again, but that could have only happened if I allowed myself to go off plan and not just throw everything away. And I guess what I'm trying to say is life will get in the way. I guarantee it. So you just need to plan for at some point in your plan to be off plan. That's all I'm saying. It just helps for when that moment comes to help keep things in perspective and not just throw everything away. And with that, I'm gonna check on Mario's cooking because I'm just not fully convinced that he's doing anything, like not even cutting things up.
If I've got my calculations right, it should sizzle like a Polaroid picture.
So this is soy and honey. Usually I would go with a little bit of sesame oil as well, but I'm not gonna do that today, just because it's a really easy way to drop my calories by about 50 to 100 calories, and it's not really something that I would even feel. That tofu's really good.
Tofu's really good.
Okay, my friends, so that's the tour over. It's been a pleasure being the tour guide. I have loved getting to know all of you. I guess if I was gonna summarize, I would say take small steps. Like, there's no race to get there. There's no big rush. This is a choice you've decided for yourself. This doesn't need to be a miserable process. Fat loss is not worth harming your physical and mental health. There is so much more to you as a person. I love you guys. Please give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and I will see you soon.